Let's go over our ETFs and really quickly. Tomorrow we had unemployment flash manufacturing. Tomorrow, nothing except for core durable goods and durable goods orders month over month. So looking at the ETFs today, saw new highs. I was looking at this one on the 1 hour. Thought it was pretty curious that we've just kind of stayed inside of this range. 15 minutes, same thing. And it has rejected 3 times, right? So there is, I would expect, overnight price action for sure. Uh, that being said, 3 rejections right here. There's, of course, a potential 633. We are bouncing. We are holding 635. But I am, again, not participating. So do what you wish on that one. Unless, if you're hedging or something like that, definitely could be a useful setup. But QQQ, we're going to be dealing with the, again, banging up in open in range, stay in range. And you did exactly that. 2 hour. And this is one where it's like, you see my little drawing here. I thought, well, shit, you are supposed to be rejecting here. You keep banging up against this. Perhaps overnight price action can allow price to move up there. But this does look like a scenario where we could gap down, and I think that could be 562.88. Maybe, we'll see. Right now, we've been seeing some kind of, pullbacks here. At worst, 557 on the Qs. So if that's, you're long on stuff right now, that's, I would imagine that those are pretty cheap for a hedge. All right. IWM 24-hour kind of pulled itself back. It's sitting on top of these candle closes over here to your left. Those ones right there. Actually, it's underneath it. So it's starting to look like we could be looking south, right? You are closing up against this. There is, on a lower time frame, as you move down, some empty space. First target could be 223.60. Second target would likely be 222.80. I would probably be focused on this floor right here as well. But, ultimately, again, I'm not really interested in trading these. I think the Qs out of all of them, has the most lucrative setup, in a way. But for a swing trade with good setup that adheres to the strategy, none of the ETFs have and do apply at the moment. So, there's the band hammer. Right. So, kind of winding down the week, guys. Peeling off of some of the positions we've been holding. I did get a good bounce off of the floor on Neo, but perfectly actually. So the in range is still in play. I have a long expiration contract on that. We'll see what that can provide. Today, KSS allowed you an opportunity to potentially trim some of those contracts. And if you are holding a little bit, of course, the punchback on the 30-minute right here could lead us into the imbalance, which I have marked out basically. Or if you want to be precise about it, you can do this, and that would be 1737. So that is again, just kind of the runners. Let's see. This one again today kind of provided an opportunity. What have we lost? We have rejected. It is possible to come all the way back down. We're dealing with Chinese stocks right now. But I'm looking for a gap up outside of that 121.37 for those runners as well. So we're winding down the week here, peeling off of some of these positions. DNUT, I know a lot of people are looking at this one, held its floor this today, wicked up kind of like KSS did, but failed to really hold any floors. So right now we're still in sideways action, still waiting for confirmation on whether we're going to punch down into that empty space, which could be hedgeable, which, that could lead you all the way back down to 350. All right. Apple. This is like a fucking Red Delicious. which are the most disgusting apples on the face of the earth. Um, it just sits there. It's just sitting there. It's not really giving a signal. I think this is because news is going to be the reason why it moves. Period. End of story.
Wouldn't be surprised if it stays like that till earnings.
King Blumpkin, welcome to the Discord. Wow, what a name. What was that?
I said I wouldn't be surprised if it stays in this range until earnings.
Neither would I. Neither would I. I did, yeah, milk. All right. Thief. All right. BA, I know some of you guys are watching this one. I'm watching this one as well, just to see if we're gonna get that leg up. You know what? It did do that retest. It is actually holding itself up. Now, hopefully, we don't start to create a torture chamber, but if you are long and your expiration is right, I know for weekly contracts that probably was a fade, but it is holding. So if it drops underneath our low of day to day, that's when bad things happen. So, uh, is that you, King Blumpkin? I saw that pop up on my notifications. Caught me by surprise, I have to admit. Also, just to let everybody know, Dustbuster is listening to Crash Into Me by Dave Matthews Band. All right. So if you have any requests, you can go ahead and drop those now.
That's diabolical. You sick bastard.
Did you finish your analysis?
That's what he wants Elon to do.
BA?
There's no way.
But anyway,
So I'm not listening.
What was what was that? Did I finish the analysis on BA?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're long, we're looking for a flip over today's high. Maybe a gap up, but it's winding. Excuse me, winding up for that. Potential move into empty space, and again, today's low days where this play would likely reverse and move back to its old cost basis. So. All right, let's do this as quickly as possible. Let's see, SoFi earnings next week. Yeah, and that's something maybe after the bell or this weekend something. Oh wow, damn, I was on the money with that one, wasn't I? But we can go over the earnings chart and start for the following week, because honestly, the one that we looked at was just whatever. All right, so SoFi 24-hour, that mark on the lower time frame of 22 ended up holding up, so now you're in wait mode. I mean, again, this is those, if you were already long off of the bounce, like, cool, you're still holding. If you're short, and you shorted off of the cost basis, cool. But again, when I'm in these scenarios where we're sitting, it depends on the position that I have, but you don't have confirmation on whether you're going to go up, which is above 22. And whether you're going to go down, which I would assume is a candle close below 2066. So, roasting Dave Matthews Band. I just wanted everybody to know.
I'm not. That's the weird thing.
That's
Maybe my
fucked up.
wife is. Who knows?
Are you listening to Up Down by T-Bane?
Is he?
Am I really?
No. So
Up or down?
Marzel's listening to "You Will Never Know It" by the Carpet Man. So don't feel bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'd rather listen to Dave Matthews. Sorry, man.
The fucking Carpet Man is crazy. What's up,
Carpet Man's
JYDD?
sick, though. You don't like the Carpet Man?
Sounds like
No,
that sounds like somebody who shows
Yo,
up
listen
in your.
in right now. Listen in right now.
I can't right now.
No balls.
All right, moving on. Let's see
Yeah, that's what I
here.
thought. That's what I
PayPal, 24-hour. Yeah, looking good. So you're trying to cruise. You might have a retest of 77.55, but if you're long on this already, yeah, it does seem like it was a little bit long-winded. So, we're dealing with PayPal's a different beast, and punchbacks with these type of stocks can be. You're going into earnings, right? Oh, never mind.
Next week. Looks
Yeah.
like Starbucks reminds me
Yeah.
of the same.
No, yeah, this one that changes it. 82.25 and 86.50 would be your potential two targets on PayPal. Right. Let's see here. Celsius up. That's not bad. You are I don't know if you established a new range, but you are closing green up against where you've closed red, and that's a great start. So you need to push over 48, 90, or basically, or excuse me, 47 basically. And there is a next target that is going to be the previous floor right there at 49 bucks. And that would be your target outside of there for now. So
Is that your target because that's like the nearest like
I can
reverse?
see that this box wicked off of it, right? And we can't disregard a wick. Why did it push off of it? You know, so it pushed off of this fat ass floor. So we're going to, you know, assume that that's going to be the first target. If that gets above there, then it's the first green candle to your left, which would be 51 or 50.85. And then these three wicks here at 52.20, 52.30.
Do you do the top of the green candle or the bottom?
At the bottom, if you're approaching. Yeah.
Okay.
KSSS swinging them up next week. Okay. A big bows. All right. Now that's what I was just talking about. Obviously, is you did see a perfect retest of $14, which is the bottom of the box, which is a perfect example of how this strategy works. Again, one of the reasons that I held on to those contracts because we fell fast. And this doesn't mean that it's going to reverse at all because, you know, this is a fat wick. This could have been the end of it, but ultimately you could come right back down to that 1237. And I would assume, and this is, again, I'm saying this so that you can use this for your risk, but that would be 1317, right? 1319, you lose that, you're going to end up dropping back down. Same way you went up is the same way you go down. And of course, you know, a punch through this box right here, we would assume new lows. On the flip side, the signal is in front of you, right? Go through cost basis at 1450, and you could potentially, or more than likely, break off the top and head to the imbalance. All right. Amazon up. 24 hour. Okay, so was that not our I'm pretty sure that was my target. Was it not? We had target 1, which was 228. And then what is that box doing out there? So floor's there, ceiling's there. Damn. That's pretty cool. So you're holding the floor, you hit cost basis, so what do you do now? Right? You move down to the lower time frames to see where this fails. That's what you do, right? Now, watch this magic. Box. Oh my God, it lines up with the floor. So cost basis of 228.72 would be the loss of the floor. It would also trigger you to the downside, where you would be met in the most recent price action with this weird thing. And that would give you a 225.96 and 224.65 target to the downside. But as of right now, you have not lost any of those things. So you are holding 230. So it's going to draw you down even lower, right? And now you're dealing with a range, which looks most likely will turn into a box, which that will give you the ability to set parameters on where that's and stop losses on where that potentially breaks out. So.
Question
Oh my
about
God, your voice is so loud. Damn, scared me.
Is it? Sorry.
It is
I'll
today.
whisper.
Okay, yeah, whisper to me. Go ahead. I don't like that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll stick to talking in normal
Yep.
voice.
All right, go ahead.
Cost basis and floor that you were pointing out has confluence there. Would you use that as like your strong bounce level as well? Because you were looking at losing that floor. As
On Amazon?
yeah.
Like that bounce right there?
No. Cost basis floor bounce. So like where the cost basis of that, yeah, and floor are both like your confluence level, right?
Yeah.
Would it actually be something that you would look at as a strong bounce level?
It already has been, but yes, coming back down, of course. Yeah, that would be a level that you would expect price to bounce. Now, how you respond to that bounce, that's a different question. So, but yes, old cost basis, where you bounced before is where you're going to bounce. You know, where you bounced yesterday is where you're going to bounce today. All right. Yesterday, today, whatever. You know what I mean. All right.
I do.
Good. All right. So next we've got lift down. So I'm not a big fan of shorting floors, right? I'll just say that as a premise here. typically there's a lot of, what do you want to call it? Riffraff, crime that happens on the floors, which means that sensitive areas like the wicks, right, could be your bounce level. Now you're responding to the candle open, but and you are closing right up against it. I can't take that away from you, right? And there is empty space underneath you as well. But I would if you take it today and it does gap down to those wicks, beware. That's all I'll say about that. But if you take it, again, you can always find out what's above you. And this lift chart should give you a clear, yep, right there, basically 1460, right? Maybe say 1463. In the most recent price action, that's where you've held. So that's what I would expect to be, you know, a short seller's stop if it got reclaimed. But all right. Yeah, just the wicks. That's all you really got in front of you. You are kind of green here, but hopefully a gap down below the wicks, actually, you'd end up. That'd be way better. All right, TMO. Did you hit my target? I think I had a target. Thermo Fisher was right around the wicks. You're kind of like, you're trying. But I believe when I talked about this, I also said that there was a target on the first. Yep, look at that. So first on the 4 hour, first green candles to your left. That's where you stopped. That's where you're building. So find your floor. Your floor is here. That's 465.60. So as long as you can hold that, you can make it another attempt at that 481.27 and finish up the play at 508. All right. So in Marvel, what the hell? Seeing as not any type of superhero, I can tell you that. Holy shit. Talk about a torture chamber. But it is long-winded channel consolidation, you know. And then what you have here is you have, going at the beginning of July till now, you've been inside of a range. Now, above you, you do not have any clear boxes, but you do have empty space beyond this, right? So we would have to, if you wanted to take this trade up, it would obviously be above 75, right? But because there is no overhead, or, you know, on the 24 hour, you just mark out 80, but I go to the 4, right? And the 4 typically is going to show me and I see a range, not a box, a range right here. So outside of this top, we need a reclaim of 76.19 and a move through the imbalance at 77.30. And at that point, it would really just be that. So there's a way for that to get there, but you're going to have to be observant. Harder the setup, the more time it requires, typically. That okay, so you're outside of 800. You have a almost one, no, you know, it is a cost basis, but 812.77, and that's what would likely give you your third touch, right, of 826, opening up the doors to potentially go to the top of your channel, like I drew here, probably way back. But a pop, and that, you know, that's not a terrible setup. I have to admit, you know, it's got a decent little curl to it, nice uptrend. So it's a long-term downtrend, but can I give you love advice? Yeah, go ahead. Hit me. I find just tell her to calm down. Wow. So just like Chipotle typically does, dump, right? I believe there's just we'll go ahead and give it the points of contact, which is here. So the channel bottom, you know, that one has you basically moving to, you know, again, hit that wick at 44, possibly here. And that seems like it was the floor before. Now there's a lot of empty space. So if this can stay aggressive enough, you know, fuck the channel, because again, those are meant to break. Ultimately, you are closing red up against where, again, we're supposed to be seeing a bounce. And it looks like, okay, so you are kind of skidding, right? You can see that on the 4 hour, how you're like, 2 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute. The trade reveals itself, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Unless you're allergic to lemons. 45.88, right? 46.35, and there's an upside move. So it does look exhausted, right? Big candle, little candles. So you're going to need to see rejections off of these floors first. Love advice or LUV advice? Yeah, calm down and smile more. There you go. That'll do it. What's good, man? Was that guy's name Baby Chomper? What the hell? Oh shit, Poop Brothers, I didn't see the gifts, dude. Thank you, man. Thanks for the anti-pasta. Pasto.
Hey, W Put Brothers, let's go.
All right, so Airbnb. I mean, out of all the you made it, you made it to the imbalance of the wick. 50% of that wick was tapped today at 142.50, right? But you're getting pulled back down. So is it a decent candle close if you are long? Yes. Right? Is earnings right around the corner and we could start bleeding up into the empty space that's to our left, making 152 a target? Yes, we can. So what else can you do when nothing has been lost, right? You can either be a little sissy or you can just know where you need to go out and hang on to your trade. So I actually, I mean, I don't hate the setup, you know. It's Airbnb and I've gotten spanked on this thing a couple times, but 15 hedges possibly. Just in case, you know, Airbnb could, yeah. If you, yeah, when is earnings next week, right? Yeah. So if we, if you take that, I could see a fat red one, you know, right here as well. So, all right, deck. No, I'm not taking deck on earnings. It is too expensive. The risk to reward is skewed. The Ivy is jacked to the tits. So we're gonna slide out for that one. So this one actually reminds me a lot of Airbnb as it approaches earnings. It has empty space from a previous wick out, right? And you're up against a previous sell level, but you're not quitting, right? You're staying inside of this range. Today was no different. You held cost basis. So the obvious setup here is a move to 48.22 on DKNG, more than likely going into earnings. If that appeases you and the contracts look good for those target-based contracts, which didn't we look at this yesterday? I don't know if we like that one as much, but you know, that's all I can see, right? And that is empty space, and that's what I look for. To the downside, you'd be looking at 38.20. What plays interests me next? I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I don't have a big watch list after what we just did. Like I just said, I'm gonna let the perfect setups, the ones that I mean, guys, we have literally been knocking them out of the park to the point where like 500% trades don't even feel right, which, you know, that you're losing yourself here, you know, come back down to earth. But like, yeah, we've been hitting pretty awesome trades, you know. Sometimes some of these trades have been so good that, you know, the other good ones start like are, you know, PDD and Neo running while KSS was up was like, oh, whatever, you know, I got shit to do. So I mean, right now it's the same thing. Ask yourself, how did we get those trades? What was the thing that we universally said about all of them? This is clear, right? Empty space directly above you. Not lower time frames, not any 24-hour and weekly setups only. That's what's been making the big bucks. I'm gonna stick to it. Less stress, right? And if you're stressing because you can't catch a play, you need to continue to wait. Persevere through that lack of patience. That's how you build patience. You don't think when my daughter's asked me the same question 19,000 times that a blood vessel in my head doesn't want to pop? but we keep breathing, right? Maybe a little seething. I'm not going to start. All right. What are we? EQT up? No, UQT up. So sweet. Why? No, I was kidding. It's not that bad. So first of all, right, let's get down to the basics here. You have successfully bounced off that big chunky boy. And above you, you've got that's a technical term, also look it up. And you've got a floor here at 53. You've reclaimed that. You also had a floor here, and it seems like you are reclaiming that as well. Now, we cannot classify what's in front of us as a box, but we can call it a range. And it is doing what ranges do, and it is holding that 50% mark. So the journey here is hold 53, 52, or 32, and push through this. And yes, you can have and gain access to that confluential target here. Cool. 336. All right, let's ACHR. It's fighting for the floor, right? The analysis is already here. You know where we reverse or where we at least retest here. That's 1170. You're sitting on top of the box. The bounce has not amounted to anything, right? But you're still holding that 1, 2, 3, and you are at that 1, 2, 3. So if you are short, you are looking for cost basis, and hopefully that's a gap down. If you are neither and waiting for confirmation, it's above 1145 that you would retest that mark of 1167, and you would incrementally trade this back up through that empty space potentially. So I have a few things for tomorrow, but they're just, I mean, I'm just holding what I got. I put some light risk into, I shouldn't even fucking tell you. Yeah. I put like literally like a little bit of money into some BA 240s just in case something crazy happens. I got them for fucking $28. I got those. I might grab some QQQ speculations, but none of them are strong like A plus, you know. As far as like solid setups, the ones that we're making big bands on, I'm not seeing it. Right? Not yet. For me, what I like, I'm not seeing it. You know, if you guys see something that you like and it's doing what you want it to do your thing. Now that's a good wick, right? You pulled yourself back up, and now you get to try for what that floor, which would make the 67 or 63.77 target above you first. I would assume possibly a wick up to 65, but that's a
Never
good.
earnings today.
Oh, okay. Well then. Yeah, I mean, a 65 has to be the first target. You know, that's to the upside. To the downside, it's, you know, you've been building above 58. I'm looking at what's underneath you. If it's a big enough move, I would say somewhere in the 54s. But I don't like INTC for earnings. It's not my favorite. No, no. I mean, I have equity if that matters. I'll take a second look at it. Maybe something's changed.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So right now, you know, again, Starbucks is on standby. It's probably going to make it really hard for you. And what I think is possible here is we're expanding our range with the 2 wicks off of the top. But again, we're looking at basically potentially a move back down underneath 93, and that would bring us to our floor. And that could actually bring us all the way down to 87.50. Now you might be like, well, fuck. And if you're in a position that's long, that could be the oh fuck that you're avoiding, but that would set you up if you fell fast enough to go into earnings with a beautiful chance for even better move up. So, all right, let's take a look at it, guys. INTC earnings is tonight, right? It is and has been concentrated through 1, 2, 3, and then that fourth earnings, right? So we had the 4 earnings ago, basically 4 scores ago, we saw a big fat dump. Since then, it has been nothing but consolidation, right? Now, the first and most obvious target is going to be 25. right? Including the top at 26.40. And by some miracle, and I don't know if I've seen INTC run like this. I guess earnings here went pretty well, right? That came out of consolidation. But it would have to, yeah, move you out of $26, and I would assume later on we could see that 29.75. One thing I don't see, well, could see here, and these are small context clues, right? Something like that could very well turn into that channel, but I don't even see an uptrend confirmed yet. So, is it my favorite setup? Do I like the consolidation? Yeah, that's why I have equity, right? Do I like it potentially up to $40 long term? Yes, that's why I have equity. Are the options probably stupid cheap for that strike price? I might take a look at them right before the bell here.
They're stupid cheap.
Okay, well then
Yeah, $30 or 1 cent.
knock yourself out. 26 is,
11 cents.
go for it. If you like it, you like it. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3 off the bottom. I don't need to take some, and I'm not going to tell you if I take it anyway.
Right.
But I don't have to be in something or to even like it. I'll tell you if I think it's just trash. I'll be honest with you. But if it's something I just personally don't like, then I'll do still stick to your conviction, because there's a learning experience in there. You're going to probably end up learning now or later on down the road. So.
Mm-hmm.
What benefit of taking NeuroGum before trading? To counteract what I've done before it. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm trading. So being alert, being aware, my brain being, filled with a bunch of B2 or B12. It's good stuff. Oh, look, a fellow Garrett. What's up, Garrett Nelson?
How does he
Yeah.
spell it though?
Same way. That's a rare.
Damn.
That's a rare Garrett, dude.
Usually it's 1 T at the end.
That's a rare pull right there. We don't get a lot of those.
You should show
Can
your
you put your
feet
name on a
now.
card?
I should show my feet. Now, what the fuck does that come from? Okay, so let's move on to Target and both. That's a shiny Garrett. Yeah, you guys just saw. That's a live shiny Garrett right there.
I'm gonna catch him. I'm gonna
Oh, Lord.
enslave that
Okay,
Pokemon.
wow, that's absolutely wild.
In game, Pokemon.
Okay.
I said Pokemon.
Okay, 109. Sorry about that, Garrett. 109.04 is still the break point, right? We might buy time into earnings. This is how, you're seeing it with Starbucks. So hope here is that we hold, but I want to show you guys there is a little bit of a vulnerability below us, and I expect it to get hit. That should be right there, right? And that's 104. That's a little bit of empty space underneath us. So if you're still hanging on, if you have a decent expiration, if you're long and you've got next week's, you should probably piss off. But what's above us is not convincing enough for me at the moment, and it hasn't lost it yet, but it's not it's leaving it behind empty space. That's typically what I look for when I look for a reversal. So that's not a hunchback to the downside setup for Target. That's crazy. I don't think so. Not yet. I don't. I think that the way you pulled back from that was pretty quick, and if you could gap down, and just straight flush to 104, we're bouncing. Like that, and that's going to set you up to potentially go. But we could use this space right here and build a whole new box just waiting for earnings, which would only basically deepen my conviction and lower the cost of the contract. So, if you're chomping at the bit, put some molasses on it. All right, Elf up. I am not looking at Elf. All right, there we go. Back to reality. You've got a box, right, that you built that I'm not allowed to draw, apparently. Can we get it? Okay. I guess I'll just go fuck myself. All right, so that's what we're fighting with. That's where we're at. That's why you refused that floor. today, or you've seen a big rejection off of that, and today you're closing up against it. So now we're looking forward to potentially 124.60. And of course there is, what I would call, well, fuck it, no, it's just empty space up to 127, and then you have a gap. It's one of the reasons that I have yet to panic, or will probably won't panic, and until we see even 107.65, which if you're long on ELF with us, with equity, that's where that goes down. But ultimately, yeah, I'm looking at ELF to try to go and reclaim that. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I love when I ask questions and then my stream freezes. You got to scroll away and come back. All right. So let's talk about this one, because I know, again, disappointing on earnings, but it did bounce and has held today for a third time. So tomorrow needs to turn green, right? That's what we need to see, period, into a story. Right now, we're not really seeing any higher time frame green. And what I'm seeing is actually some rejections or pullbacks off of the floors that we need to reclaim. So I'm setting my cursor there, right? So at the moment, if you're long on it, this is one of those things that might just be better to get out of. But in terms of like if it breaks down, I don't know if I necessarily want to hedge that. But no, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, for right now, it's low risk if you still have it. It's hang on. I'm hanging on to it, and just to see if we can, in fact, get that candle close green outside or up against 53.60. So ALK is likely going to move, but again, we move into all of these trades with really low risk. So it's like if it doesn't work out, as long as you're, if you got $1,000 and you put in, 50 or $75 into something like that, like keep it pushing. All right, Soundhound. Definitely got consolidation. Now I see some vulnerable spots up here, right? All the way up into this 1950. So one could start to speculate on that. But I think the weekly is in order here, because what's really important and what should be noted, maybe this move happens sooner than later, is you are holding, right? You are bouncing off of what you need to hold. The 24-hour confirms that by showing you the box, which this again should help you navigate whether or not it is going to in fact break out, which is above 1350, which I would likely be using some type of lower time frame entry to get into said box. If you notice, there's actually a box in a box. Beautiful, right? So you need a reclaim. Oh no, box is fucked up. There we go. You need to reclaim. Yep, look at that, 1248. So what you wicked off of today is a upside potential leading you to cost basis at 13. And that's where you could look for a potential break up and out. Cool. All right. I did talk about Target. It's just a waiting game until earnings, guys. Be patient. You might have to get out of those shorter expiration contracts if you bought them. It is holding. So for me, I'm just kind of stand by, but it hasn't lost anything yet. Hillies, what the hell? All right, so I'm not sure why I drew a box right there. But I think I was just trying to encapsulate the range, but you don't have, see, it's like almost like there's a box there, and then there's like a box here, and then there was a floor / box there, and all of those have mattered. So I'd say, being that you've wicked off of this before at 221, it's going to be right above you at 230 that you can try to go and fill up that empty space to 328. Do I like Intel for earnings? It is cheap enough to possibly grab 26s. It's not the worst, and maybe some miracle does happen. It does have a lot of consolidation. It could be of interest to go out for a longer expiration, because that is where you're going to be looking at INTC potentially actually running afterwards, and that could take, a week or two. If you're asking about Apple, what I said today is still true. What I said this morning is still true. What I said this Sunday was still true. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is still true. We are locked up in a box. You're waiting for the top of that box to break. It's just that simple. Hey Potter, just want to say I'm trying to use PBS on crypto. So far it's looking great. Thank you. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, keep studying. All right. Let's see if we can finish this up here. We got 10 minutes. AN down for earnings. Oof. Auto Nation weekly. So number one, not my cup of tea as far as the way those 24-hour candles trade. But you are at the box, right? So 24-hour, see the 24-hour differs pretty decently. So I would say, and period, end of story. This is just not my earnings setup. So if that's what you're looking for, it is, yes, down up against that. You do have empty space up above you. So I would say 185 is your first target, possibly down to that 176. But I think one thing is also important is we go back and look at how these earnings perform. Here, nothing. Right here, nothing. There, I mean, doesn't seem like it was even worth it. There, little pop, but you basically just popped up to that high. The last time you really responded to earnings was here back in July of last year. So, maybe that happens this year, but yeah, just not I'm not trading deck for earnings either, guys. The contracts are too expensive. The IV is too high. It would have to rip. If it rips beyond, I'm just not taking it. It's just not worth the nearest target based contracts are too expensive. And that basically makes it that our risk is too high. We can't compound contracts, and it just takes away the edge. So it's a very simple answer for me. I just don't. There's too many earnings to get caught up on one that just doesn't fit the script. So Monster is holding its old cost basis, from what I can tell. So that's again going to bring you down into the lower time frame, and you can delete all of this. Basically, just focus on that, which is the floor. The floor is 423.30. Cost basis is off 428.31. And then basically you can do this, right? Above that for sure, right? That's where you could look for that floor and ultimately empty space to 449.50. FL just for fun. Of course, it would have something to do with feet. Oh, you guys know the deal, right? We talked about this one. This is a buyout. If I'm not
it's a merger.
right.
Yeah, it's a merger with Dix.
Oh, this is a buyout? That's
Dix,
kind of okay.
Dix is going into Foot Locker.
All right, rocket down. Get it? Because rockets go up.
I had no.
So we got 14. You dipped underneath that. The rocket has fell back into the fucking.
That is a
top
red
of the
rocket.
Why? Why does it always have to do something with wieners, dude? Good lord. 15.
I mean, it is. It's not a lie. It's a red rocket right now. Red rocket's red.
1455 is the first target, and then 14 is directly underneath that because that is an old box that you punch through. Those aren't triggers. And the first box, so I mean, if we're looking at this correctly, you have two targets in front of you. You have the old cost basis at 1450 and 14 flat. So that, I mean, it doesn't look bad. Z scalar. I don't know, man. That one is. I have 1 day left on the contract. Are you trying to get it down? So again, I stay. The wick has to go today. You just didn't fucking move. All right, I'm gonna say this too as well. When I see something move down like this, right? Screw the channel. Tighten it up, if anything, dude. You could be looking at a rip, right? Did we not see the same phenomenon on Uber? That was just a squeeze out. You just dipped, couldn't hold, and then you left empty space behind and you ripped. So I'll throw that out there. So maybe a hedge is in order if I don't know if it's the last day of those contracts, but ultimately you need a gap down, if you're going to start pushing in or reeling in sellers. or sailors. I don't know. All right, Riley is consolidated up against a huge front. Been up against 650 for a while. Most of the time, it does do this consolidation, then break down. Today's candle again doesn't confirm anything. This is the third time up against the top. And again, it is 635, so you would have to break over that. So if you're buying it on speculation, you need to break past that. If you're, looking at this as a rejection, because if you do reject something 3 times, that means that there's a likelihood that you could potentially fall if you start losing what you gained. And so underneath 542, we could start looking for a retest of 465, but Tyson Foods earnings play. So the earnings, big dump. Not much. Big rip. So it likes to try to move. Doesn't always hold that move, but it does try to hold the rip. Weekly. So there's that gap up above you. Let's take a look at this channel here, because that definitely had some heat. Okay. But here's what's important. Where are you holding? Right? So it looks like an old cost basis in there. 1, 2, same floor. And then this weekly is wicked up to touch that. So I would be looking, maybe you could see a move through the whole move up through, or 256 and then out up into the 60s to reclaim that channel. Typically those channel reclaims are pretty big, but if you don't, I mean, you're standing on the edge of the cliff, in a way. So you could be looking at $50 as a target, or even as far, I don't know if this happens on earnings or maybe after, but possibly a target of 48. So, but
They
that's
got
a
monthlies, Potter.
they
Too.
got who?
Monthlies for TSN.
Word. Okay. My watch list is pretty dry right now, guys. Me personally, I don't have a super cloudy. After I make big money, I typically hop in the back seat, let the Uber driver drive, or whoever that strange man who's in my car. 84.50. I mean, it does have a good base to it. The weekly base looks good. The weekly candle looks good. So I would be targeting for $88. I like how you made yours like italics and bolded. That was perfect. CVS down. Lord have mercy. So it definitely has made a huge move to make that happen, right? Now, one thing I've seen about CVS is sometimes when it decides to break, right, as you notice here, it does not stop, and that wasn't necessary. That was, you had earnings, and then it was shortly after that, you filled up the empty space and then reversed. So right now you're losing this floor. You have, I would say, a floor directly underneath you here. So I wonder if, hold on, let's do this. So it looks like it tried but failed. So I think that's probably target 1. And depending on how that, if you see, like if you look here, you start flushing, through levels. If you see strong candle, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? A good strong rip to the upside just pushes out. And right now we're not in that environment, and some of us aren't, really prepared for this. But like when you move to the downside, and this is just exemplifying this, but like a lot of the times, yeah, you're gonna push and break out, like, or break down, and so you would want to see a break underneath 57 for sure. GTD 4 hour, so you're doing okay, right? We talked about this resistance here. You bounce back up. You got empty space on the hourly. So if you are long on this, again, really, what else can you ask for? On the 30-minute, you do have, I would say, more of a range than a box, but that would give you a 86.40 target directly above. So in there, so it's got 30-minute empty space for sure, and that's inside of a massive empty box. Now this box does have 3 major rejections off of the top, but it is moving into earnings, right? So that is something to consider too, because if you hold, right, if you hold or build at all here, and would probably be, well, you're not really doing much there, but that could, yeah. So retest, I think 155, but yes, if you start breaking down off of that third rejection, you could look at that empty space underneath you and it would be juicy. So XYZ, so same thing I said this morning is definitely going to be true today, right? And the weekly has a gap underneath it, so sellers could be looking at it inversely. Buyers, obviously, you're probably biting your nails right now, trying to see whether or not that 81.36 is going to get reclaimed. And right now, that is what you need to reclaim. It's just that simple. You've had three rejections, off of that price level, but none of that has amounted to any sort of downside. I guess you could say that that's probably, below 78.50, 60. You would be looking down at that point, you know. But to the upside, it's marked out at 81. A gap up would be super beneficial, especially in this scenario where you have all those sellers pushing you down. A gap up would be a blessing. So. Lord have mercy. What are we looking for here on Hood? Because as of right now, I don't really see anything other than $401. Yeah. So I see that box right there, right? And I think that's separating you. Yep. So there we go. So that's actually, in a way, that's actually setting you up for that downside move, right? In advance. And you could probably do with just taking a quick peek at the inverse chart and see how much sense that makes. All of a sudden, you can see clearly now the chart is flipped. So you have a break over or under 99, 94.80, 85 runners, right? Probably go into that gap and possibly even to 78.76. But you got to tread lightly because we have yet to lose anything. And that bouncing could lead you to a reversal, or in this case, right, just like you would at a floor, building a box. So
Barter, can you look when you get done that? Can you look at IWM down again?
Yeah, that one was interesting today.
well, if you look, right, you whip up and then you whip under. So that's the first thing that's like super noticeable here. And that, that a lot of the times that leads me to look at, a potential downside move. And I do have this chart flipped upside down. So as of right now, you are falling pretty aggressively back underneath. So the way that I would set this up is just get the box there. And the problem with the box, though, is it kind of, until you get to the 4 hour, it doesn't really line up. So right now you're looking at that median of 221.40, right? And at that point, if you lose that and it's aggressive enough, if I would start looking down, and yes, you would be looking at a target probably somewhere around that 216.88. Now, IWM doesn't have a ton of empty space below it. So it would kind of be a step-by-step process.
And today was the biggest inverse day to the overall market that IWM's had in a while.
But IWM likes to sometimes take the lead. They all
Oh,
they
yeah.
flip flop sometimes. So, but it is dumping quickly, and that a lot of the times will, well, at least on the 15-minute now, you've dumped quickly. So that could lead you to reversal. But I know this, until something's major loss, and we can look at the Qs. To me, I like the Qs the most. Like, I don't know if anybody took anything short on those. I said that at the beginning, but out of all the ETFs, which I don't trade at a high, but I could see a potential gap down. Now, again, low risk, high reward. I was looking down all the way to 557. So, that's a breakdown off of the second rejection, knowing that we have a third underneath you and knowing that the wicks have already gone underneath into the median. It would probably be there where the volume would be needed the most. So, and you could still, those are still open.
INTC is trying.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. I wasn't sure if the report came out
Just
just
look at
yet.
it on the 1 second, please. Just look at it on the 1 second.
1
But
second.
then
Got it.
is the report out for it?
They missed it
No.
by 5. They got
It's out.
negative 10 per share missing expectations by 0.05. That's what it says on Robinhood.
Guided up Q3 by a billy almost. Your cheeks are still open. My cheeks are still open. What are you talking about? My cheeks? What are you looking at my cheeks for? Get away from my cheeks.
What cheeks?
Whoa. I didn't comment on my cheeks, dude. Getting really tired of this ass harassment, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Just talking about your face cheeks. What are you talking about? Don't be
You know,
getting ideas.
I can just tell
What
by
if
the way you
I-
talk, dude, that you got rosy red ass cheeks, dude. Don't start. I
Yo,
can hear
I
it. I
sit on
can.
them all day, so it might be red.
Oh my! I see you switched it up too fast on me. All right. Water thirst trapping all day. Hell yeah. ALK eventually, but not now. I mean, it is extremely clear that we need to move over 55, and this is.
Dude,
I mean, honestly, you know,
Oh, tricky.
don't forget about it. You know, because at some point, if we can see a big move down, and that happens quick, right? We can look at ALK in the past, right? Same thing here. Empty space down, empty space down. We're expecting that same type of price action up. So you can start setting alerts, especially off of the same areas. And this is yeah, the same areas that sellers push off of is the same areas I want my alerts. Because when sellers get pushed out and there's nothing up above them to stop price, that's when we can see ALK go up there. So that one just gets added to a watch list that gets put on your fridge or something.
ETD had a nice close. Do you see that?
Yeah, I just charted it a second.
Deck is pushing.
TTD went all the way up to 85 in close. That was
Look at
pretty
that.
strong.
So delicious. Who did what? What did Deck?
TTD.
Oh
Well, deck was moving too, but nobody.
man, I said. I mean, yeah, it was there, but the price just wasn't right. That's all right. You know what?
Actually,
Yeah,
$100
that
is
shit was
ridiculous.
crazy
Yeah,
expensive. Yeah.
but listen, just because a flower is pretty doesn't mean we always pick it. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty good.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I just fell in love.
I mean, but you know what's great is we can identify a clear setup. We liked the setup, but the contracts just didn't fit the script. No matter what, unless you have a bajillion dollars.
Which is why I bought equity.
Well, they're like $300 a contract or what?
Yeah, if you bought equity on this, you know, that might have been a bad idea, but hell, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, but with a stock like that though, if you don't open up in the money, you're gonna get IV crushed to fuck.
Oh yeah. So even if you have those 125s, you open up at 119 and wick down for 2 seconds.
Bro, even if you open up at like 123, if you open up red, it's gone. It's gone, dude.
But look, if you knew or you understood what I was talking about when I said, you know, this does have a good setup. This is what we like. I do like Deck a lot. Pause. But like it looks perfect. But the contracts, but that's your ability, right? If you understood what I meant and why this was a good setup, then you have the ability to identify this shit on your own, right? And this is no different, regardless of the fact that we're not in this, but like this is no different than all of the other earning setups that we look for, right? It's yes, Google had empty space, but what was in front of that empty space? A whole lot of trash, a whole lot of old volume that I just don't want to fucking deal with. And that's okay, right? Because if we focus on the ones that look perfect, that make us feel like it's like, damn, that shit's fire. And if, you know, I think right now, does anybody have the earnings chart? Does anybody want to drop that? Might look through it a little bit. Oh, Birds, you bastard. I can't believe you. Ivy, you let it slip. No shot. Damn. Look, see, at one point I didn't have dark circles under my eyes. Not yet. Don't look at me.
All right, guys, I gotta go clean the camper. We're going camping this weekend, so I'll holler at y'all later.
He's going to
Glad
kidnap
to
more
hear.
people.
Hey, Cade.
I'm actually going to Stone Mountain, Georgia this weekend.
Oh, that's fun.
shit.
Yeah,
Little
yeah,
ra-
we're gonna pull the camper up there and on Sunday and stay
little-
until like Wednesday or Thursday.
A little rally.
Whenever you want to pick me up, it's fine. Just let me know.
We're going to the Coca-Cola plant.
Sound like he's gonna say KKK, didn't it? I know what happens at Stone Mountain.
You guys have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Night, man.
Hey, take
Later.
care.
That
All
one
right.
didn't even warrant a comment.
Is
Yeah,
this
probably
from-
get out of here too?
Oh, this is from this
Hey,
week.
guys.
I was talking about next week.
Hey, Potter,
See ya,
dude.
dude.
Core, Cour, Coursera.
You say COR what?
UR.
I was looking at those Panda, but I
Ay,
feel like
ay,
the
ay.
contract's super expensive.
They were super expensive. Well, look at that.
They're
You
only
got
20 cents. They're only 20 cents.
so you know how to identify setups that rip. That's all I heard. Good job. Whoa, Coor. I apparently had an alert set on this thing. Why?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you in the last couple of seconds, but I was just like, nah, I don't think
Bad
it's
earnings.
worth it from a money perspective.
Yeah. Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, the $11 contracts were like 20 cents a piece.
Look, Marzell just stopped looking at analysis. You guys want to know what Marzell just did? Just guess.
You trade it and take it.
Nah, dude.
Your
Oh,
mom.
no. That's me. Damn it. Nah, he hopped on Counter-Strike, dude. Immediately. He's my friend on Steam. I just saw it pop up. Like, he said goodbye, and it literally just immediately popped up. That's crazy.
Did you tell him to he can take the time off?
No, he's not. Shit, he hasn't even fucking billed me.
You got fired?
No, he didn't get fired. He's just doing shit. He works when he needs to, wants to. He's not like full-time employee. I don't have him hired like that. He's contracted.
Independent. Yeah, independent.
Hey, Potter, I just posted it in trading chat. That's the filtered earnings for next week, mega caps.
Okay. Does
Oh,
he?
sweet.
Yeah, that's cool. Apple, ABBV, Amazon. I could already tell you, obviously Apple. ABBV, probably not. Amazon, no. ASIAN, probably no. CVX, I don't know. LIN, don't know. MA, hell no. Meta, maybe. Merck,
CVX
CVX. Why? Does it look good?
on the weekly.
Can I please type? For Lord. You know what? I'll send you $100. You play it for me. Oh, it
Hey,
does look
you
good,
can
doesn't it?
do it on your account.
Too scared, man. So does it move on earnings?
The next one I just posted is any market cap, optionable and shortable, but they have a high short float.
Somebody asked me about that one yesterday. That one has a high short float. Yeah. Cake's up at the top. Might blow the top off
Yeah.
the cake, dude. Car. Oh, already ripped.
Yep.
Jesus, Lord, have mercy, my fingers. No.
I don't even know what to do with Microsoft.
I don't usually touch Microsoft, but I'll look at it.
Green candles for the last like 4 months.
What a fucking yeah, dude. It's funny because I almost forgot it
Etsy
existed for a
doesn't
while.
look terrible.
Why is Trump being mean to me? Jerome. That's funny. Damn, man, I think it's just straight rippy. Chevron got approved by Trump to keep pumping oil out of Venezuela. I mean, it's got a shit ton of empty space. So if you look at it on the 24-hour, I'd say 159 is your first target. And then at that point, it's, probably 163. INTC said they're cutting 25% of the workforce. Well,
Keeps
I don't-
going up and then rejects.
that's hot dog water, dude. Dog water.
Potter, UNH for earnings. I'm looking at a 250 target on this one. So it keeps rejecting this level that it needs to claim back above.
Well, I think
And today,
so the first thing I think is why did it drop? Right? Was it financial or was it because somebody popped homeboy? Right? I think was
no
that
one
last
popped. It was more like financial.
was it? Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay, yeah, 'cause you had
something
the
to do
first
with
drop.
just how the health system is.
That's right, that's right. So I mean, as far as identifying targets to the downside, you have to really look into the most recent price action. Floor there, top there, so it'd be like 256, right there that I'd be aiming for. But you would, I mean, it is now that you've seen that initial blow now, for earnings, again, you already have like what I would consider to be like semi-exhausted price action, but you have enough consolidation to possibly whip, down. And I think yeah, that the 250s and 230s are probably most likely, but it's hard to trade something like this too with full confidence when you just got a box floating in space, above, and this is probably the most important factor here, is that that bounce saved you from falling under here, and that ultimately is your own balance, which is 270. So it could be one of those things where you bounce off of that wick and you end up, moving back up. So it's a little bit less.
I don't know how you see these things.
How do I see this? What do you mean?
Yeah, no, just in general, like very magician like. Because like I can't see like that deep into my analysis. I just look at that wick and I see that we are closing underneath that structure, and it's just like straight move down to that wick 250.
Your mom should have
And
drank more
all
when you were in the womb.
drink more milk.
Hey, look at Ford. It's got earnings next week.
Gross. A little bit of empty space in the 24-hour though. I mean, consolidation. It does respond here and there to earnings. Dippy there. I don't know. Maybe you can punch back and at least see 50% of that. I think that would be probably around $13 or $12.75. But
yeah, my equity's doing well. I'm not touching it. So.
I'm excited to start setting down with you guys Sundays. Hell yeah, dude. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head out. Y'all have a wonderful day. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll close out the week. Might take a half day tomorrow or something like that. Fucking if tomorrow's choppy or something. But yeah, great week. Kind of ready for this Sunday. See if we can.
Hey, look at one more before you go. STLA.
What do you think? What do you want? Oh my god.
You've already charted it.
Stellantis, hot dog water.
They have earnings next week. It's just on this list. I'm just going through them, looking at them.
Unless they bring the V8 back.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it has a gap to fill down to 930. Maybe a channel here that's dead. So yeah, I don't know. It's got empty space, but something significant is gonna have to pop that thing off. So I'm out. Y'all have a
All
good
right,
one.
guys.
Lord have fucking mercy. All right.